Since you clicked on the video, I'm going to go over what I disliked and liked about the sequel trilogy. Also, I'm going to explain why the next trilogy may be a bigger failure than the previous. There's a few ways to save the next trilogy, so stay till the end. First and foremost, there should have never been a Last Jedi film in the sequel timeline. Ben Kenobi and Luke fulfilled those positions. I'm pretty sure Ezra Bridger is alive during the events of Episode 8 and 9. Before Disney brought the rights to Star Wars, the remaining Jedi were Luke Skywalker, Mara Jade, Kyle Katarn, Kip Duran, Ram Koda, X2, Jaden Kor, Starkiller, and Crook. The additional members added to the Jedi Order were Jaina Solo, Jason Solo, Ben Skywalker, Anakin Solo, Karen Hortz, Nell Ka, Lobaka, and Cam Sonar. After 2014, none of them were in the spotlight as supporting or background characters, which means the Jedi Order has been decimated again and fascism thrives once more. Without the Jedi to rival the First Order or the Knights of Ren, every sacrifice the heroes make was in vain. If there was already a fully active Jedi Order, Rey wouldn't be on her own arguing with an outcast because Luke's head wouldn't be up his ass. If he was reluctant to train her, Mara Jade could have been her master, which would have came around in full circle since Palpatine trained Mara from childhood. Having a Jedi in the sequels would have allowed Disney to make more money from action figures and Lego sets they could have released from 2015 to 2019. We could have seen Kylo fight against the Jedi Knights in The Force Awakens, not in the comic. Kylo confronting and killing Jedi warriors would have allowed us to actually power skill him. Kylo isn't as strong as Jaina or Starkiller. His fight against Finn and Rey showed some display of power. Ben trolled Finn during the fight till he got his arm nicked by his former employee, pushed Rey back with minimal effort, then he got his ass kicked by Rey. The sequel trilogy was supposed to be New Republic versus First Order and Sith Eternal. Yes, I'm aware of the Demilitarization Act implemented by Mon Mothma. Yes, I'm aware that the galaxy knows that Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader. Yes, I know that the galaxy is tired of war, and the New Republic officials ignored Imperial Remnant activity. I'm also painfully aware of the Togliatti amnesty for pardoning fascists in 1946, but Resistance versus First Order was a stupid-ass idea. I understand that the galaxy is tired of war. Hell, people on Earth is tired of war. Also, for some reason, the same New Republic that was hardcore in Legends got retconned in pacifism. Then Disney used demilitarization as an excuse to justify the existence of Rebellion 2.0. New Republic vs. First Order could have made millions. One scene with 5th century droids going against First Order stormtroopers would have came around in full circle. Clones fought against droids, later on TKs fought against rogue clones, finally stormtroopers fought against rebels. The New Republic troopers looked way better than the Resistance troopers. That's not an opinion, it's a pure fact. Outside of the Old Republic and prequel trilogy, Disney has never allowed the good guys to look as cool as the bad guys. That's why the bum-ass Resistance exists. Simply to overuse the infamous Viet Cong versus Galactic Government trope. Thanks, Jeffrey. Another reason why we needed New Republic versus First Order was for the purpose of giving us something new. Two bureaucracies fighting for power, fighting for control over the galaxy, higher stakes for both sides, new circumstances, and more boring informational political scenes because wars happen because of politics. In the US, wars happen because of the CIA and the crazy Ashkenazi Jewish people. Israelis too, but I digress. There needed to be an all-out war involving E-Wings, K-Wings, TIE Phantoms, Predator-class starfighters, and all-terrain Mega Caliber 6s on screen. Shit got so bad that the fans decided to make New Republic related mods so people could be interested in playing as Resistance soldiers. New Republic Marines were a missed opportunity. Hopefully they become canon in episode 10. I doubt it though. What's interesting is during the New Republic era, the amnesty program was set up, which allowed the New Republic to be infiltrated by former and undercover Imperial personnel, just like Operation Paperclip and the consequences that follow behind it. Leia's Resistance will go down as the worst army in Star Wars history. Damn near every outfit the Resistance had was ass, with the exception of the pilots who looked cool. The bomber pilots didn't look as good as the X-Wing pilots. Cool helmets though. Naming a rehashed rebellion faction Resistance was just as lazy as the costume designs they were given. Now out of curiosity, what Resistance group are we talking about? Earth's Resistance from Dragon Ball Super, Resistance from Terminator, or Resistance from the worst army in Star Wars history, and from the worst trilogy? It's an overused name that has lost its meaning a long time ago. A few good things about the Resistance are Poe's Black X-Wing, Mr. Bones, Rey, and everything else affiliated with the Resistance was truly awful. The bombers was unnecessary. The First Order was great, but it could be better. With fascism and authoritarianism comes tyranny and conformity. For those who've experienced tyranny by either fighting back or suffering, conformity means following orders and following the required dress code for said organization. What I'm saying is, the First Order troopers needed more than black and white armor. Disney could have brought back legions for the bad guys, 501st, 212th, 104th, and shock trooper markings. Could have added more variety to First Order troopers. We saw that from Phasma, Cardinal, Pryor, Von Veg, Mountain Troopers, and Jet Troopers. Introducing the 501st Troopers is Kylo's main fighting force, made up of his best soldiers, meaning they are far more superior to basic First Order stormtroopers, not just by how well they aim or follow orders, but by strategic superiority that makes them stand out as the best of the best. 212th Legion stormtroopers are the stormtroopers faction that could have been introduced as an colleague faction to the 501st by supporting them on difficult missions, or the 212th Stormtroopers could be under the demand of a certain admiral. It would be appropriate if 212th Stormtroopers made their debut in Episode 8 alongside the Knights of Ren. 104th Battalion Stormtroopers could have been introduced in multiple ways, as background characters on Starkiller Base, on the Battle of Takodana alongside Kylo Ren and plain white Stormtroopers, or possibly Episode 9, Duel of Fates. Either Ray Sloan, Armored Angle, Bilalava Parnady, or Damaric Quinn should be assigned to lead and order the 104th Battalion First Order's Troop Stormtroopers. To say that again, Armored Angle, Bilalava Parnady, and Damaric Quinn should be assigned to lead and order the 104th Battalion Stormtroopers. First Order Shock Troopers will continue to act as a military police by enforcing fair and tyranny on different planets. The other purpose First Order Shock Troopers could serve as bodyguards for admirals and generals, basically a security detail. First Order also needed Force Sensitives in their organization. The Empire had Inquisitors, Shadow Guards, Saber Guards, Sith Acolytes, and the Emperor's Hand. The Force Sensitives of the First Order is just Kylo Ren and Snoke's old ass. 7 years before watching Episode 7, I played a game called Star Wars The Force Unleashed for PS2. And later Wii. It blew my fucking mind because Vader had his own secret apprentice and the Empire had Force-sensitive agents called Shadow Guards, who were powerful but not as powerful as Galen Merrick. In the sequel game, Galen's body was harvested and he was cloned a shitload of times, thus leading to Imperials, Acolytes, and Saber Guards being added to the Empire. It's speculated that the Empire discovered Force-sensitive stormtroopers and shipped them to Kamino for training. There's no clear answer if they were clones of Merrick or conscripted soldiers. Inquisitor Jarek was a mighty Inquisitor who came to power after the Battle of Endor. Then there was X1 who kidnapped Luke Skywalker and he was a clone of Fallon Gray. There was also a Royal Guard actually who was Force sensitive named Connor Jax, and he was an aspiring Sith Lord, but he failed. But furthermore, to explain, putting Inquisitors and Shadow Guards, Sith Acolytes, and Force sensitive agents in the First Order could have made the sequels way better than what we got. Just imagine Ben Skywalker, Mara Jade, Tahiri Villa fighting against First Order Shadow Guards, Sith Acolytes, and Saber Guards on planet Ryloth, or Jaina Solo, Kyle Katarn, and Rey taking on First Order Inquisitors and Force sensitive agents during All-Out War. It's fucking awesome, but it never happened because Jeffrey Jacob Abrams thought it was cool to wipe out the Jedi and the Sith to write a story about a broke freedom fighters and one Force sensitive woman with an unknown family background. Sentry droids were necessary to the First Order aesthetic, by the way. They look cool. A couple weeks back while I was writing this script, I found out that Disney had a Mara Jade series in development, and it may be true or it may not be true, but it was said that Zendaya was being eyeballed for the Emperor's Hand. And even though, yes, she's a good actress, she's a good singer, she's very talented, I'm very tired of seeing the ginger to black pipeline. Please stop it. And it's way too late to bring back Mara Jade. You could have did that in episode 7, 2015. It's not gonna undo what happened, but it's still a good idea. But if you do a Mara Jade series, make sure the actress is actually white. We don't need another redhead to black person pipeline. We don't need that. Please stop, Disney. Stop it. Knights of Ren. Everyone on that team needed red lightsabers, strong dialogue, fight scenes, and unique force abilities, not just Kylo or Ren. During Rey's vision, the Knights of Ren were like warriors of darkness shrouded in mystery. Nowhere to be found in episode 8, appeared in episode 9 and got clapped. Yes, the Knights of Ren possessed some level of force sensitivity, but none of it was present while they were jumping on Ben Solo. Jumping Ben Solo, you know what I mean. Ren needed to be introduced in episode 7 as a toxic role model who reminds Kylo why he's superior to him. Knights of Ren only exists for the purpose of selling action figures, yet we saw little to no display of power on screen. We don't know the former identities of Aplek, Brazar, Karuk, Massif, Ushar, Trudgeon, or Miranda. It doesn't matter, the damage is already done. Hasbro, please release more Knights of Ren action figures, I'd buy them. Episode 8 was meant for the origins of the Knights of Ren to be explored. Rian Johnson wasn't too keen on following through with coherent stories. Dave Filoni, do not make a Clone Wars-like series to save the Knights of Ren. They were fucked from the jump. Lucas's original plans for the sequel trilogy included Darth Talon as an enforcer type of character. She was described as the Darth Vader of the sequel trilogy, meaning that she would be on screen taking on Luke, Leia, and any surviving Jedi she came across, along with theatrics and intimidation as a part of her arsenal. Old Master to be giving her orders from behind the scenes, and he would also be controlling remnant stormtroopers in the underworld. None of it happened because the sequels happened, and we didn't like that shit, not very much. Talon is part of the One Sith Order under Darth Krayt. She also seduced Cade Skywalker, they got intimate, he later comes back to the light, she gets injured, and she goes into hiding. We needed her in episode 7 as a rival ally to the Knights of Ren. If anyone's confused, just know the Inquisitorius were all rivals on the same team. Inquisitor Jarek and Vader were rivals. With rivalry comes toxic behavior. An example of said behavior is when the 6th brother sliced off the leg of the 9th sister just to escape. Talon could have been shown leading her own legion of stormtroopers or force-sensitive troopers. She should have been the dominant love interest to Kylo Ren, meaning that she manipulates his actions the same way Henry Kissinger controlled Nixon. Talon's fate at the end of the trilogy could have been death or imprisonment. While watching The Force Awakens in 2015, I was convinced that Kylo Ren was Jason Solo until Harrison Ford yelled Ben. Darth Caedus was the first grandchild of Skywalker to fall to the dark side before the rest of his relatives. Darth Caedus would have been another colleague and rival to the Darksiders in the First Order. The rivalry or bond between him and his brother Kylo would have been shown adjacent to what Goku and Vegeta have, but Jason is willing to kill for his power. Him and Darth Talon are far stronger than Snoke and the Knights of Ren. Another missed opportunity. Rey's family lineage needed to be revealed at the end of The Force Awakens. Her being a Palpatine, Kenobi, or Solana should have been established a long time ago with a more diverse origin than Luke Skywalker. If she was a Kenobi, she'd be a Mandalorian Jedi. I noticed because Corgi Christ is the final member of Kenobi's bloodline. Rey Palpatine only happened because there were theories from 2016 that claimed she was a Palpatine due to her aggressive fighting style. No originality from Disney whatsoever. Rey Solana was the best option possible. It eliminates the idea of fan service. Rey Solana also has a cooler outfit compared to the other versions of Rey. She's also a knockoff version of Jaina Solo. Finn is a knockoff of Kyle Katarn and Finn Galfridian. For context, both Kyle and Finn were force-sensitive stormtroopers who had Asian love interests. Finn Galfridian is a man who came from wealth and encountered the Yuuzhan Vong and trained at Luke's Jedi Praxium on Yavin. Galfridian is a white blonde male, by the way. Disney never gave us all three in the trilogy. Sequels, Finn should have already been introduced as a Jedi. I'm saying this because he was 23 and wasn't sure if he was force-sensitive or not because Disney wasn't sure. In the last film, Finn showed some bit of force sensibilities. Let me rephrase that again. In the last film, he showed some force abilities. So does Janna. Thanks, JJ. Poe Dameron is just Jagged Fell with a soccer ball. Excellent pilot, though. Just another senior citizen whispering to another damaged young man. We never saw any display of his power outside of basic force abilities. Since Johnson screwed up episode 8, JJ took it amongst himself to reverse the damage by having Snoke be a product of Exegol, furthermore to justify the bullshit of the sequels. Darth Vader travels to Exegol with Ochi of Bestoon, where Palpatine already massed a backup army. For some odd reason, Vader never told Luke about Exegol. Strange. We could have only assumed Snoke is as talented as the lightsabers as Palpatine. Leave him dead. Leave him dead. Everyone entered the movie theater hoping Luke would become who he did in Legends. He married the woman who tried to kill him and later had a son. He also became a Jedi Grand Master who allowed attachments such as marriage. He allowed his own students to study diplomacy in order to better themselves and be a well-equipped Jedi. We didn't see any of that character development. All we got was a washed-up hippie, to say the least. How did you lose the Millennium Falcon? Why weren't you leading the New Republic? Why didn't you try to find Luke Skywalker or Ezra Bridger? Ochi's another character that should have been shown in episode 7 in different acts. He's also another character that needed a crimson lightsaber to amplify his character. If anything, Rey as a Jedi Knight should have fought him. That didn't happen because he died from boredom. His impact on Rey's life needed to be shown because he killed her parents. His helmet is very cool. Needed to be shown at the end of Force Awakens. The Final Order needed more color variations for their armor. The Star Destroyers didn't need planet-killing weapons, totally unnecessary. Both the First and Final Order needed aliens in their ranks. Fel Empire and Galactic Empire did it. If they were introduced at the end of Episode 8, they could have fought alongside the 212 and the Knights of Ren. They basically exist for the purpose of selling action figures. It doesn't change the fact that the lore is total bullshit. What I liked. Everyone knows that Darth Vader's Anakin Skywalker, that should have been mentioned in the films, kicks as the last clone trooper in the sequel's timeline, but isn't present in any of the movies or TV series. Maybe he's present at the Battle of Exegol, but I said maybe, may not be true. Terex was a great idea. Terex was an Imperial veteran who escaped the Battle of Jakku by putting together a TIE fighter wings and an AT-AT head. It looks hideous, but cool at the same time. Terex later customized his Imperial armor differently and became a crime boss. His armor is almost adjacent to samurai armor. He briefly joined the First Order then left after he showed some form of insubordination. He's also responsible for sending Poe to Jakku. Terex went back to being a crime boss. What's cool about him is he has a bit in common with mobsters. A lot of mafia dudes were veterans and worked with the military during World War II. Terex was the imp. After the Battle of Jakku, he became a crime boss to escape the wrath of the New Republic. The Final Order was a good idea. The suits were amazing, but the lore was bullshit. I already said that. Amazing suits, bullshit lore. Mr. Bones had every reason to be in a sequel trilogy as a beloved side character. There's no possible way for him to come back unless it's during flashback scenes before episode 7 or a retcon. Guavian Death Game was awesome. Wished Hasbro released more figures of them. Kylo Ren was the best part of the sequel trilogy. Best dressed, best weapon, great character potential. It wasn't reached. It wasn't really fully reached. And him having a redemption arc was bullshit too. He should have died evil. What I disliked: New Republic getting wiped out, the absence of the Jedi, Sidious coming back to life, almost every outfit the Resistance had was ass, Luke being a pussy, Han going back to his old ways, Knights of Ren not using lightsabers, Rey being Palpatine's granddaughter, us not seeing Snoke's abilities, including his saber combat skills. The final battle should have taken place on either Naboo or Geonosis. I'm gonna say this again. The final battle should have taken place on either Naboo or Geonosis, not Exegol. Hux being a spy was stupid because he kinda destroyed the government. The Battle of Crate was dumb. The rebellion trope was a tragic choice for Disney to make. Nostalgia baiting is one of the reasons why the sequel trilogy collapsed. Babu Frick is ugly and should have got curb stomped on screen. Star Wars Resistance needs the Acolyte treatment. Kaz is a dickhead. The sequels all happened in 1 year. Yes, the events of the sequel trilogy all happened in 1 year. There should have never been a Last Jedi movie. The First Order engineers look mediocre. The Resistance bombers didn't need to appear on screen. Wedge Antilles and Lando Calrissian should have done more. Finn, Rey, and Janna should have been introduced as Jedi from the jump. Rey should have originated from a different planet instead of a one similar to Tatooine. The Skywalker bloodline is over. Luke never reproduces with Mara. Han and Leia only has one kid. Rey's father not being force sensitive was ridiculous. That's what I disliked about the sequel trilogy. What can save Star Wars? Have Rey go by either Rey Palpatine or Rey Solana. She is not a Skywalker and she never will be. Don't allow her to give birth to the child of Kylo Ren. That's abusive and it correlates with Stockholm Syndrome. Make Finn and Janna Jedi warriors. Stick to one fucking writer, stick to one director. Plan your trilogy. Bring back the New Republic and make them look better than Legends and canon. Consider introducing new enemies, well-written enemies. No more planet-killing weapons. Bring back Darth Talon. Bring her into canon. Do not give her a redemption arc. Do not make her trans either. Once again, have Rey go by Master Palpatine or Solana. She's not an honorary Skywalker, that makes her an imposter. Just know that Twi'leks are the big booty Latinas of Star Wars. We need them. We need more of them. Believe me, we do. In conclusion, the trilogy went sideways when Disney decided to get rid of the New Republic and the Jedi Order, not clarify if Rey was a Palpatine, Solana, or Kenobi from the beginning of Episode 7, created a rebellion ripoff with a generic name, never allowed Luke to marry or have kids with Mara Jade, gave no background on the origins of the Knights of Ren, invented the Sith Eternal in between the years 2017 to 2018, then acted like they were the ones supplying the First Order with the gear. Finn's potential being completely wasted and him being a knockoff of Finn Galfridian and Kyle Katarn. Poe Dameron is just Jaggerfell with a soccer ball. It's almost been 10 years since Episode 7 came out and we still dislike the sequel trilogy. Now, if you decide to bring Darth Talon into canon, make sure she's dressed modestly, because Star Wars, apart from Star Wars being a fan base full of Gen Z and millennial people, we got Generation Alpha and we also have degenerates out there. So make sure she's dressed modestly, because we don't want motherfuckers pulling out Vaseline during her fight scenes. We can't have her tits bouncing all over the place and niggas want to pull out Vaseline and start having fun. We can't have that. No planet killing weapons for the next trilogy. No super cannons on Star Destroyers. No planet killing weapons. No planet killing weapons on Star Destroyers. And no more Star Killer bases. No more Death Stars. It's not cool no more. No more Star Forges. Don't even bring that shit back. Okay? Acolyte does not deserve a season 2. Acolyte does not deserve a season 2. We don't need that shit. That shit's not cool. And that's about it. That wraps up my complaint. If you have opinions, put them in the comment section. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And may the force be with you. Have fun.